What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. And finally, baseball is back. We got a full slate, obviously. I think first game starts in about an hour and a half with the D-backs and Cubs at Wrigley with our full slate today. So obviously no recap. So we're just going to get right into today's slate, obviously. I got two picks here. I'm taking one of Ari's plays here with the first three. I'm going to explain that one a little bit later. We're going to go to, I think this game is in DC, if I'm correct here, and we're going to go take the Reds' first five money line here at minus 130. Look, I just like fading Patrick Corbin. That's pretty much what it is. I like fading Patrick Corbin through the first five. He's a consistent fade. We talk about how, his numbers aren't always great, high ERA, and against this Reds team, he doesn't have the greatest splits. So I think, obviously there's that, the biggest, I guess, question mark is how the bats are going to be after the All-Star break. And, that's pretty much for every team because, every team has been off for so long. And, obviously outside of the game played on Tuesday, it's at least a 2-day rest. So, bats, can cool off or, you don't know, what bats are going to show up and whatnot. So I'm just backing this team to obviously get to a bad pitcher here in Patrick Corbin. And, obviously I like the full game, obviously, I know you'll get into that in a little bit, but I just like the first five here. I'm just attacking, the fact that I think Reds and Patrick Corbin, obviously have a great relationship in terms of hits allowed because the Reds love hitting off of Patrick Corbin. I think he's allowing, I think, about a 300 batting average, with multiple guys on that, guys like India, obviously Ellie De La Cruz, McLean and all those star guys. I think the Reds, obviously, we talk about, when you want to back the Reds here, a great spot, against a pitcher that they are very familiar with here. I think this is a great spot just to back the Reds for the first five. On the other side, it is Hunter Green. Obviously, we talk about the Nationals, and obviously, I don't like their bats, obviously, at all.
I saw Frankie Montas on DraftKings.
It was Montes? Oh.
That's what I saw on DraftKings.
Maybe I saw Green somewhere else, but oh no, it is Montes. Yeah, sorry. It's Montes on the mound, but even with Montes, I don't like even obviously, he does allow, I guess, not the greatest splits. I still love him in the spot right here. The Nationals bats, we talk about fading them pretty much because they're so inconsistent. We literally just talked about a couple, I think yesterday with CJ Abrams and how he has struggled, because of just, how the team has struggled in terms of those consistent bats. We saw last year, with guys like Lane Thomas and, CJ Abrams kind of leading that charge once he got traded there. And, it's surprising, that Jesse Winker, out of all people, is kind of having a little bit of a resurgence here after his stint in Seattle. And then obviously they're missing Meneses, who got, I think, sent down to the minors, I think, if I'm mistaken. So they're missing their key bats, and their key bats that are there, they're not really showing up. And I don't really like him in this spot, and then Corbin, I think I'm looking at his splits right now. Did you know he's allowed 16 homers to the Reds? Like, that's incredible. And you're getting the first five at minus 130 because Montes is on the other side. I mean, you look at the splits for Ellie De La Cruz and Jonathan India. They are a combined 9 of 18 against Patrick Corbin with 2 homers. Do I need to say more? I'm just going to take the Reds here on the first five money line, minus 130. I think Patrick Corbin's going to be in for a rough day. I love his over 5.5 hits allowed prop line. I think that's going to be super juiced. It may even climb up to 6.5. I don't know. But I do love that first play there. And then Ari, I'm stealing one of your plays here. I've never touched this market before, but this is the only time I've really liked it today. I'm going to take the Orioles and Rangers first three under 1.5 here. It's plus 150 on DraftKings right now, so I'm probably only sprinkle half a unit on it. But I was simply just targeting the fact that this pitching matchup is a great look. The Nerfy is super juiced. The first 5 under 4.5 is a little juiced. And I think that, obviously, I'm mostly backing the fact that one run through the lineup, I expect both pitchers to pretty much do their job. I mean, Corbin Burns is literally pitching in the same stadium he just pitched in the first inning, not even like three days ago. It's the same field. It's Globe Life. And on the other side, it's Nathan Eovaldi at home. And we love taking Nathan Eovaldi at home. That's where he performs a lot better. And we talk about the Orioles and Rangers and how both of their lineups have pretty much kind of faltered into the All-Star break. And, I don't, especially with the Orioles, obviously they had that, incredible, miraculous, I think, comeback win against the Yankees. But, the Yankees are just an absolute mess right now. And, the Orioles obviously aren't great either. And so I'm just mostly taking Nathan Eovaldi at home just to pretty much do his job through one time through the lineup. And then on the other side, I'm backing Corbin Burns, to pretty much do his job. He's one of the more consistent pitchers. Obviously, I say he's one to be a lot more nervous about, just because of the fact, obviously, he is on the road here. But obviously, I think the Rangers lineup and their struggles, I think, Corbin Burns does his job through the first 9 and just doesn't allow any runs to come through. Hopefully, but we only need, obviously, hopefully not more than 2. Obviously, I saw the first 3 under 2.5. I think super juiced at like minus like 150 or 165. So I want to obviously take a little juice on under 1.5 here. If I did have a lean in this game, I did like the Rangers full game, but I don't really like fading the Orioles just because of obviously their bats, and the Rangers bullpen sometimes has been prone to blow some leads in previous history. So I'm just taking the fact that both of these teams maybe struggle a little bit out of the All-Star break here to just go first 3 under 1.5 here, backing both pitchers in this spot. At a good price here, just sprinkling it at my plus 150. So those are my 2 plays today. The Reds first 5 money line, backing the Reds bats against Patrick Corbin, who they love hitting off of, and obviously backing Frankie Montas, who obviously not the best splits against this Nationals team, but at the same time, the fact that the Nats bats have pretty much been so inconsistent all season, as we talked about in previous history. Just love this first 5, and I know you were talking about this something about this game later, and then Orioles and Rangers. Taking another play from you. Talking about the first 3. I've never really touched this market, but I didn't really want to target anything past the first 3 because I know the Orioles bats tend to wake up sometime throughout the first 3 after one time through the lineup, and then obviously the Rangers. Obviously, I feel like with how much they've struggled in terms of their bats, especially in a good pitching matchup with Burns and Eovaldi. I think that's a great look there. So those are my 2 plays. Ari, baseball's finally back. What have you cooked up for this Friday?
Yeah, I have 3 plays today. We'll start off. We're both handing Patrick Corbin some birthday cake today. Today is his birthday, yeah, just fading him at home. Obviously, it's Montes, who hasn't been, he hasn't been good either this season, but it is away from the Red. It is in Washington, so it's better than him pitching in at home, where obviously it's a super hitters friendly ballpark, at Great American Ballpark. So I like that a little more. And then, we talked about even right before the All-Star break, how the Nationals were kind of like limping into the break with their lineup, and they were kind of one of the bigger surprises at one point, like maybe like a month ago. They were actually playing really well, like well in the wild card race, and then it was like the last 3 or 4 weeks, I want to say, before the break, that they kind of just their lineup just like took a 180 or whatever, and it hasn't been the same since. So I don't mind the first 5 look. I like the Reds bullpen better than the Nationals bullpen. I mean, they just traded one of their relievers to the Royals, Hunter Harvey. Not that it makes like a huge difference to the bullpen, but I still like the bullpen better for the Reds, so I'm fine taking full game. But I think, we're both fitting Corbin, so I think both plays can hit, obviously. So starting off with the Reds ML, and then going on to my own first 3 under 1.5. Jack Flaherty against Chris Bassett. The Tigers, really all season haven't been good as a lineup, but they've been, especially on the road. And then the Jays have just been one of the more, you can call it disappointing teams or whatever you want to call it, especially their lineup. So yeah, this is again was like the first 5 under was super juiced, and first 3 it's the same thing. First 3 under 2.5 was super juiced. So I'm the same route that you went, where I'm just looking for a sleepy 0-0, hopefully through 3 innings. Obviously, I tend to believe the first game out of the break it'll be more the hitters that will be in general will be more slower to get off out of the break. So obviously it could be 1-0 or whatever, but hopefully it's just 0-0, no sweat through 3 innings plus 140. And then finishing off at night, the A's over the Angels. JP Sears at home. Angels have been their lineup hasn't been good at all season, but especially away from home they haven't been good. Against lefties they haven't been good. And then the Angels, it's not confirmed. It's either Griffin Canning or a bullpen game, most likely one of those two. And no matter which direction it is between those two, the A's against lefties have been better than the A's against lefties, you could just say. So just backing the A's. Obviously, both teams are going to be sellers in the next 2-3 weeks. Obviously, but the A's just have a better lineup, and I trust Sears more than Canning or a bullpen game for the Angels. So just backing the A's at home, who obviously they haven't been good at all this year. Angels haven't been good, but the A's at least offensively have been better, especially at home. So yeah, those are my 3 plays: Reds and the A's on the money line, and then Tigers, Jays first 3 under 1.5.
Yeah, I love the A's pick for you right there. You mentioned, Griff Canning or the, Angels bullpens, more of a which one is kind of worst kind of combination there. Griff Canning, not the greatest pitcher. I'd say he's probably one of the worst pitchers in that Angels rotation. And the Angels bullpen obviously sucks, not consistent as well. So I do have the A's full game money line, obviously a lot better at home again with their hitting. So I do have the A's money line for you. And then you mentioned the Tigers and Jays first 3, obviously a similar way to my Orioles Rangers first 3. Basically same look there. I was looking at that as well. You mentioned the Jays bats and how just inconsistent they've been, much of a disappointment as well. A lot of names have been floating around the trade deadline, like Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just to name a couple. So, there's a lot of, ifs and questions with this Jays team right now. And obviously the Tigers, I know Jack Flaherty, obviously he's been dealing with some, I think, back tightness recently for him, but even with him probably being on a shortish leash, I do think, with the Jays bats being inconsistent, I do think that he gets the job done. And then obviously on the other side, Chris Bassett, for the Jays starting, obviously he does have good splits against the Tigers as well. So I do have that play for you. And then you mentioned the Reds full game money line. Obviously I'm on the first 5. So we basically have the same look there. So I love those 3 plays for you. Obviously my 2 plays as well. With the Reds first 5 and the Orioles first 3 under 1.5. You can find both of these plays on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. I know Ari was talking about some birthday cake for Patrick Corbin, so hopefully he gives me a birthday present, obviously. Speaking of birthday presents, we're going to talk about Monday. That is my birthday. I'll be 25 on Monday, so a little happy birthday to me. And we're going to be doing a Nerfy stream. I said I don't care what the matchup is. The sole game in the morning is Rays and Yankees, and I just wanted to do something, obviously, for the 25th. So Monday, we will be having a Nerfy stream in honor, obviously, of me turning 25. So a little birthday present. Hopefully we get a Nerfy that morning. So obviously we don't want to start off the birthday on a bad note. But for Patrick Corbin, obviously, hopefully he gives, obviously I know his birthday's today, but hopefully we can hand you an L today, Patrick Corbin. But obviously for mine, hopefully a win with that Nerfy stream on Monday with the Rays and Yankees. So make sure to tune into that, obviously. But that's going to do it for this episode. We thank you so much for tuning in. That is Ari. I'm Korea. We'll be back for the birthday stream, of course, and some more picks on Monday for another week of baseball, obviously getting closer to the beginning of the college football and NFL season. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend, win some money, and we will see you on Monday. Peace out, guys.